I'm 82 years old, and I'll tell you my first story. I tell you how I met my wife. I enlisted in the Navy at the age of 18. I did my basic training in Bainbridge, Maryland. After that, they sent me on a ship that went over to the Mediterranean. I spent my next 4 years over there. And while I was over there, I met my wife. She lived in Barcelona, Spain. I met her sister first on a Saturday at a party given by her brother. And the next day I met her, and I asked her for a date, and she said no. And that was the end of that for that day. The next day, I went to their house, and I rang the doorbell. I came to the door, and she said, "I don't have a date with you." I said, "I know you don't, but I was in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd say hello. And here's a little present for you." And I gave her a bottle of Chanel No. 5. And then she invited me in the house, and we sat down and talked, and that's how I got my first date with her. And 4 years later, we got married, and we're going to be married 60 years on March the 19th next year. My second story is my wife had to go to the hospital because she had an intestine infection. She was there for 5 days. They gave her antibiotics, and they cured it, sent her home on a Saturday morning. The following Tuesday morning, about 3:30 in the morning, she wakes me up and tells me she has to go back to the hospital. I called the ambulance. They took her in, and they found out that she had a heart attack. And she spent another 5 days in there, and she's doing real fine. That was the biggest scare I ever had in my life, because the doctor told us after it was all over that half an hour later I wouldn't have had a wife.